Yeah. Yeah.
Welcome in, everybody. We are back. The Fantasy Cheat Sheet is back, presented by Going for Two Live. We did take a hiatus after the playoffs and Super Bowl was over. Oh, and by the way, the Kansas City Chiefs are your Super Bowl champions. I had to put that out there. Jamie knew I had to do it just once. That's all I'm going to bring it up. Jamie, what is up, my man? How are you doing tonight, my dude?
It feels good to be back, man. What a perfect time. You know, we got the rookie hype coming up, combine, and next week we got the free agency. So feels good to be back just in time.
For sure. Just for the office work. We will be back in 2 weeks. We will be going every other week until the summer. And then at some point during the summer, we will switch back to our weekly go. So next show will probably be about free agency. But like Jamie mentioned, the combine just happened. So today is our post-combine rookie show. We're going to talk about some of the rookies, maybe not necessarily the top guys, because honestly, Jamie, some of those guys didn't even decide to show up. Caleb Williams and Marvin Harrison Jr. So let's get straight into the news of the week. We'll go through this somewhat quick so we can get into the rookies, because I know one of the things that me and you have been talking about in chat for the past month is that you've been wanting to, and I've been wanting to talk about the rookies on air. We've been paying attention to the rookies for a while. It just happens that the combine's over, so it's time to get going. Right?
Yep, for sure.
All right. So let's just get on some of the big news that's happened. Okay. So first off, let's just go. Russell Wilson has been informed he is being cut by the Denver Broncos. What does this mean for the Broncos, Jamie? And at the end of your take, what is your quick prediction of where he will be?
The Broncos, man, it was a horrible move just signing his contract. One of the worst contracts in history next to the Deshaun Watson, obviously. So what happened? So they got Hackett. Hackett brought in Russ. They got rid of Hackett. Then they get rid of Russ. $85 million? Is that what they lost?
85 dead that they're going to be capped. 85 dead.
That's just crazy. Like, they should have just kept him. The supposed quarterback whisperer, I guess they didn't vibe with each other. So who knows what they're going to do forward. But going with Russ, I could see him going to somewhere like maybe Vegas, Raiders. I kind of like that landing spot. I know Steelers don't want him. I just heard that today. I don't think Atlanta's going to go after him. So I don't know. Raiders, good fit. What do you think?
So when it comes to the Broncos part, we don't have time to talk about it, but I'm wondering if Sean Payton is overrated. But that's another story for another day. When it comes to the Broncos in general, I think they're going to go younger, but I don't think they're going to go top guy young. They could go for, someone in the third or fourth round, maybe, someone like that, a rookie. My bold take, and I've been saying this for 3 or 4 months, right? Like, I want to say I've been saying this since December. And maybe even when remember partway at the end of the year, Jamie, remember they're like, oh, Russ is probably going to get cut in a couple months. So we kind of been knowing this was like possible. There's something telling me that crab leg Jameis could end up with his old coach in Denver. That's that bold thing sitting inside me. I don't know if that's going to happen. When it comes to Russ, I was thinking it could be Atlanta, partly because, Sierra and the music scene and, all that. The more and more I think about it, I don't think he's going to be in Atlanta. I think Atlanta is going to be one or two guys. We'll talk about that next show. The more and more I think about it, I think you might be right. But part of the reason I think you're right is because Vegas they have cap money, but they need to be smart with their cap money with everything they have going on and the lack of talent on that team. Russ is going to sign for less money than normal because he can only make an X amount, per salary cap reasons the more money he makes this year, the more money goes back to Denver. So he's not going to sign this giant contract. He's going to sign a lower deal. So I could see the Raiders being able to pull that trigger.
Now, can you see a situation where no one wants Russ?
I think he's going to be on it. I don't. I mean, could he go to a team that's like middle? I mean, I'm going to throw a random team out there real quick. And I'm not saying he's going to start there for sure, but like, could he go to a place where he's going to have to compete, right? You get what I mean?
Yeah. Yep.
Could he go to a team that drafted a quarterback last year, and not Steelers that you brought up, but could he go to a team that drafted a quarterback last year that half the fantasy community and half the NFL community thinks he's the future, and half don't, and half haven't thought even since he got drafted? I mean, could he end up in Nashville and go to Tennessee and like compete against Levis?
Yeah, I could see that happening.
So that's the other. I mean, could he compete? So with that one, today was the deadline for the franchise tag, which meant some guys got deals before they were forced to be franchised by their respective teams. The biggest one when it comes to fantasy, Jamie, upsets me deep down to my core. And you know why. I've been wanting a big wide receiver for the Chiefs for a few years now. We have speedsters, but I want a bigger wide receiver. The biggest one could have been on the free agent market, but he is not. Michael Evans, new contract, 2 years, $52 million to stay with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. What does this mean for Mike Evans in his fantasy aspect? And does this mean that Baker's back?
Yeah, I think since he signed that, he's going to have some kind of leverage to get Baker back there, get another 1,000-yard season, just solidify his Hall of Fame career that he's had. I wanted to see him go, like you said, to a team like the Chiefs. I wouldn't even have mind going to the Jets with Aaron Rodgers. That would have been fine too. But fantasy-wise, I mean, he's still got to be a top 20 receiver weekly. He's got that upside to be a low-end wide receiver one. But it's still early, but saying somewhere between wide receiver 15 to 20, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think, I'll be honest, this is going to be nice, short and sweet. I completely agree with you. Yes, as a Chiefs fan, I was selfish and wanted him to go to the Chiefs, but I mean, I even saw, the Jets. I could see the Jets. I could have even been happy with him going to Houston and like playing for like CJ Stroud or something. But him going back to Tampa, he's still going to be relevant in fantasy. We all know that. I think this just shows that Tampa Bay isn't phoning it in. They're not going to go complete rebuild. They are also franchising Antoine Winfield Jr., which means they're putting the money in the defense. So overall, they're trying to stay relevant in a division that is easy to stay relevant in as of now because no team has taken over that division.
Yeah, definitely playoff bound with Evans.
Yeah. And then, so down in Houston, Dalton Schultz. I am kind of surprised this happened.
Yeah, I'm surprised about that.
3 years, $36 million, 23.5 guaranteed. What do you think about this? I don't have much to say except I'm surprised, happy for Dalton, but at the same time, I don't know what this does for the value of what does this do? I think this is just a deal to have a player on the field.
Yeah, for me, it just drops Brevin Jordan off of my fantasy teams for the next 3 years. He was already being dropped last season as it was. I've seen a couple people pick him up off waivers just in case Schultz didn't get that deal. But now with that deal, this Brevin Jordan, that's the big takeaway for me. I'm not going to go after Schultz in any dynasty league, even redraft. I'm not on Schultz.
Yeah. CR, what is up? CR is bragging because I went to the tournament a couple weeks ago and we took him with us. So he's just happy that he got to go and mingle where people like us don't normally get to mingle. All right. So next, I'm just going to bring up a couple things real quick before I go. Okay. So, like I said, today was the deadline for the franchise tag. I'm going to list a few players. You just tell me who you want to, just bring up whoever you want to talk about real quick, Jamie. We're just going to go that way. We already know Higgins got tagged. Michael Pittman got tagged. And on the defensive side, L'Jarius Sneed of the Chiefs, Kyle Duggar of the Patriots, Antoine Winfield Jr. of the Buccaneers, Josh Allen of the other Josh Allen of the Jacksonville Jaguars, and Brian Burns of the Carolina Panthers. Actually, I know who I want you. What do you think about Michael Pittman? Was this foreseen? Did you really expect him to go anywhere else?
No, I expected him to stay. He's a team player. He even said it himself. He's like, I don't mind being franchise tag. They're going to work out a long-term deal with him, I think, and he's going to be a Colt for a while. But yeah, good for him, just being a team player. You know, front offices love that kind of stuff. So when it is time for him to get a big contract, I think he's going to be able to do it.
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree with you. I didn't see him going anywhere. I could still see them bringing in another wide receiver, but I didn't see him going to any other team but the Indianapolis Colts. He was able to perform with Gardner Minshew. You're expecting Anthony Richardson to come back. Why? Why go anywhere else? Like, you have a young talent. Like, I didn't see it. There's no reason for Michael Pittman to go anywhere. And he's still going to be a top guy.
Yeah, he's definitely that alpha on that team.
Yeah, he's definitely the alpha. Josh Downs is a complimentary piece. Pittman's the alpha. I mean, I'm just saying, like, people that, like, Josh Downs was never going to be the alpha, and he proved that Pittman is the alpha if Downs is going to be the complimentary piece. All right, so for anyone watching that is new, we normally have 10 topics that we go down back and forth. We're doing it a tiny bit different since we only have 2 of us tonight. Each of us has 4 players, makes 8. And then our 9th is going to be a combo, which me and Ashley and Jamie actually agree on. And then we'll have the cheat of the week. What I want to preface this show by saying is, besides the combination player, me and Jamie pretty much don't know what each other think about the prospects. So Jamie could bring something up that I disagree with. We could be right on board with all 10. I don't know if that's going to happen. However, I think it's great that me and you don't know, Jamie.
Yeah,
because I don't know exactly who you're high on yet and who you're like. By the time April gets here, you're going to have a running back and a wide receiver that's going to be your darling. I'm going to have one like last year where, remember last year, I was all over Mims last year.
Yeah, and I was on Reed.
Yeah, you were on Reed. So we're all going to have those kind of players. That's going to happen. Maybe there's a couple on tonight's show. We don't know yet. So, except the one that we agree on. So let's just get right into it. Who is the first player you want to bring up? And good, bad, ugly, interesting? I don't know where this is going.
It's very interesting. Like before the combine, I've never even heard of this guy. I ranked top 15 running backs. He wasn't on my list. It's Isaac Garando.
Yep.
I think I pronounced that right.
Yep.
He's a running back. He's 6 foot, 221 pounds. He impressed on that 40 time, 4.33, I believe. He's got great speed, good burst for his size. Like before the combine, I never even heard of him, not on my radar. So technically he is a riser for me. I don't know where to put him yet.
He ran a 4.33, the fastest running back.
Yes. And I have to put him in my top 10 running backs, maybe 10 to 15-ish. We're going to see where he goes in the draft, see what the NFL thinks about him. But like I looked at his college. He played 5 years. In his first 4 years, he had 99 attempts combined. And then his final year at Louisville, I think he had like 132 for, 810 yards and 11 touchdowns. And he had 22 receptions for 234 yards. I mean, that's pretty impressive, man. Like,
Yeah.
Most likely, I won't be targeting him in my rookie drafts. He's probably going to go. I could see maybe in the 3rd round, but I seen a draft the other day where he went in the mid-second as the RB3 off the board just because of this hype. Don't fall into the hype like that. He's not going to be the RB3. He's not even going to be in the top 5.
He's not going to be a top 5.
No. So let's chill on that hype. If you're at the end of your 3rd round, early 4th, and that seems about the right kind of fit for him. But like I said, we got to wait to see what the NFL thinks of him. I'm thinking he's going to go in maybe mid-5th round, somewhere around there. If he falls lower than that, then I'm going to be completely out on him. But we'll have to see his landing spot. But what about you? Did you even hear about this guy?
So, I'm a degenerate. And I had heard his name. But I had heard the name. I had heard the name. That doesn't mean I know that doesn't mean I know his profile, anything like that. No. I was listening to a podcast today, and I can't remember exactly who it was. I listened to 3 or 4 this morning. But they know what they're talking about. And they, until this weekend, didn't have him being drafted. Okay? Yes, he's on their list. Yes, he was on their list. Everyone, he's on their running back list and all that. But they thought he could be like a James Robinson in the sense of maybe have an impact if you get signed after, the draft's over, blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. He's one of those guys, like you said. No, people, Jamie gave you the right piece of information. Don't be drafting this guy in the mid-second of your rookie drafts. Okay? There's way too many wide receivers. We'll get to that. You're not drafting him mid-second in even 1 QB leagues. I'm sorry. But, like you said, late 3rd, I got a couple rookie drafts because it's IDP leagues and it's 5. If you end up taking those kind of leagues, I mean, I heard a guy on a podcast say his rookie draft goes 7 because they're, those are the leagues that you can do that. You can draft them at the end of the 3rd. Like you said, even in standard leagues, most rookie drafts are 3. If you're in a 12-man, 14-man, 3-round draft, and you want to take them at 3.6 to 3.8 to around there, I don't think Jamie or me are going to tell you, oh my God, you made a mistake. Because at that point, everything is a flyer and a dart throw at that point at the back end of a 3rd round. But running a 4.33 at his size, Jamie, that's the key.
221.
Running a 4.33 at his size shows that you have to pay attention to this guy because the NFL is going to pay attention. And if it's like you said, if his draft, proves it, his draft capital,
yep.
Then we're going to have to listen. Jamie doesn't know I did this or was going to do this. So I'm doing this just to show. Jamie changed his name on Twitter.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Jamie, would you like to tell everyone what your Twitter name is your X name on Twitter before I give it?
Mr. Athletic Profile.
So
I love my athletic guys.
So when it comes to rookie season, it started as, for everyone that wants to know, it started as a joke about tight ends that Jamie always brought up Athletic Profile. And then it kept going and he changed his name. Isaac Garindo, his RAS score, which stands for Relative Athletic Score, Jamie, Do you know what his RAS is?
Oh, I didn't check
Out
it
of
out.
10? Out of 10?
I'm gonna
Ready?
guess it's like a 9.94, 9.5,
What if I told you it was a 998?
9.98. Oh,
He is a 998, and I will have the athletic score for everyone that we bring up because I'm on the website.
all right.
998 for Isaac Garindo. Let me see if
And
it
that's
has.
out of 10, just so if anyone didn't know.
Yeah, that's just that's straight out of 10. Okay, so there's that. Yeah. So basically, to wrap up Garendo, pay attention. Don't go crazy and draft him in the second. If for some reason he jumps up on NFL boards that high, then that's a different story. But I don't think me or Jamie are expecting that, partly because the other running backs, even though the running back class isn't deep, there are people there, which we will get to in a little bit. So the first guy that I want to bring up, wide receiver, South Carolina, Xavier Legette. Well, I want to bring up his athletic score. I'm having to bounce back and forth on that. So Legette ran a 4.3940. We will be talking about everyone's 40 pretty much just because that is a big part of the what am I trying to say? The combine. So this guy, yes, he went to South Carolina. People are comparing him to Debo, Jamie, and I don't think that's fair. I don't think that's fair for anyone to compare anybody to Debo. He's 6'1", 6'1", but like you said, 6'1". And how much does this? How much do you think Xavier Legette weighs?
I think he's like 220-ish, right?
6'1", 221,
221. Okay.
and ran a 4.3940, 40-inch vertical, 10.6 broad jump. Okay. One of the things that people were concerned about going into the combine was going to be the catching and going to be the gauntlet. This might be my guy this year, Jamie. I don't know yet. This might be my guy this year. Right now, I have him at like around 7. WR. I like the guy. I think he proved what I already wanted to believe. He had good ball skills at ball tracking. I like the guys that you either have the small guys that you can get way into open space, or you got the guys that can brush people off. He can knock people off. He didn't. The problem is he didn't do it early, and me and you know, and I know you pay attention to the
Breakout age.
breakout, and I know you don't. But what I'm trying to say is, I know you pay attention to it, but I also know that you're not the type to just. He doesn't have a good breakout age. He's going to suck.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
Am I right?
Yeah, you're right.
Like, you pay attention to it, and you should pay attention to it. But at the same time, you're not the kind of guy that's like, oh, he didn't have a good breakout age, so there's no way he can possibly be good in the NFL.
We also got to look at teammate scores and who played in front of them and stuff like that.
You got to look at all that. So don't be afraid of Xavier Legette. I think he's going to get second-day draft capital. And no, he's not going to be a WR1. He's not going to be a top 15 wide receiver in the NFL. But in the leagues that we play in, Jamie, he's going to be serviceable. What do you think about Legette?
Yeah, I don't hate him. I also don't love him.
Yeah.
I just been avoiding him when I've been doing mocks because there's other receivers that are going around him I like more.
Yeah, there's a lot.
Or the running backs, but he was outside my top 10 receivers after the combine. Just seeing that athletic profile, and he fits my criteria. I put him right now. He is my wide receiver 10. And I can see him moving up. Like you said, you have him at 7.
His
I
Raz
might
is
put him at 8, like 8 or 9.
Yeah, his Raz is the second highest as a wide receiver, 992.
Yeah, and I know he's a little bit older. I think he's like already 23, a little bit over 23.
Yeah.
So that might be like subconsciously I might be avoiding him because of that, but still, I mean, he's a good player. It's just I like other people that are going around him.
Yeah. So on the Raz website, majority of the guys it has, this, Jamie, but just for people, it has comparisons like because of their score. It didn't have anyone for Garendo, but for Leggett, the top two comparables, Roddy White and Torrey Smith.
Oh, those are some good comparisons.
So it's good comparisons. Not saying they're going to be. He's like them. He's not the same player as Torrey Smith or as Roddy White. That's just saying in athletic profile that he is similar to them. So for Jamie's next one, I am very, very interested to see where this one goes.
All right, so the LSU receiver, not the number 1 LSU receiver, not Neighbors, but the guy playing behind him. One of my favorite wide receivers to target in mock drafts is Brian Thomas Jr. I don't like his name. It's kind of boring. I tried to come up with a nickname. Started calling him Smash Thomas. Didn't catch on. I want to do what he did. DJ Moore. His name's like Demarius Moore Jr. I think Brian Thomas should do that. Call him BJ Thomas because everyone loves a BJ. But anyway, dude, what is he like 6'2", 6'3", something like that? 209, 210 pounds.
I can get it right here.
Yeah, go ahead and get that. But I know he ran a 4.33 40 time, which was the second fastest receiver. People aren't talking about him because he was overshadowed by Worthy's 4.21 record-breaking 40. So, he kind of just got pushed to the side. But I believe NFL teams are going to love this guy. Like after the NFL draft is over, everything comes together with like his profile, with his draft capital. I think he's going to go in like the first round, possibly middle to late. So anywhere after pick 15. He's my wide receiver 4 in this class. Can't put him any higher, man. I just can't put him over Odunze, Neighbors, obviously Marvin Harrison. But what is his RAS score? Wasn't it something like 9.9 something?
So I'll give it all right now. Height 6'3", 209. He ran a, like you said, 4.33 40, 38.5 vert, 10.6 broad. He did do the bench press. He had 11 reps in the bench, and then his RAS
was super high.
Yeah. His RAS. I will say this: wide receivers this year in RAS. Oh my goodness! But there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. There are 17 receivers this year over 9.
Wow.
But his is, where are you at? There you are. 986.
986. I thought it was higher than that. I thought it was like 997.
986.
986.
But still, I mean, that's 986.
Yeah, I mean, that's still like elite territory.
Oh, totally elite. 986. Great. His comparable, let me see if they have any comparisons. And then I'll get into my take. Oh, okay. One of his comparisons is Alec Pierce out of Cincinnati. Okay. But the number one comparison, Julio Jones.
There we go. I love it.
So the reason I wanted to know what you thought, hands down, smash mouth, my number 4 without a freaking doubt. And I don't give a crap what people think.
Yep, same here.
He was not, and then you'll find out in a little bit, everybody. He was not my number 4 going into the combine. I want to say that. He was not my number 4 going into the combine. He was my number 5 going into the combine. He is hands down, without a doubt, my number 4 now. That's not changing. He's gonna be my number 4. I will get to why was not my number 4. But I was watching, you know how I'm doing with my video. I'm still watching video on these guys to get my scores, but because I want to try to do something with them next year. But Brian Robinson, I actually got with Jeff Lambert. And for everyone that doesn't know, the owner of GF2.
Brian Thomas. You said Robinson.
Brian Johnson. Brian Thomas.
See, I told you his name's
Brian Thomas Jr. So I did it where I actually came up with a full-on scoring system, 10 categories, came up with, and I used Jeff's. I used a version of Jeff's score. Brian Thomas got an 80 out of 100. That is number 4. Number 5, but with combine, he will be my number 4. I love this guy. Period. If it wasn't for Neighbors, and the reason I brought up the film wasn't even to bring up the fact of I've watched this film. The reason I wanted to bring it up is I'm watching all 22, right? And I have it cut up by player. So I was watching just Neighbors because it circles Neighbors on the field. While I'm watching Neighbors, my eye kept going to the other side, Jamie. Like, don't get me wrong. Neighbors is good. Neighbors is great. Don't get me wrong. But because they were showing, Neighbors just doing a route and whatever, like block or whatever. My eye was, instead of just paying attention to Neighbors, my eye was going to Thomas. So Brian Thomas, hands down, is number 4. And you said it. I really think he's not going to be there. He will be on the clock. He will be on the board when number 15 picks. Mm-hmm. He will not be on the board when number 21 picks.
I like that. Yeah. I mean, like, even in the rookie drafts, I'm considering him at like the 107, 108-ish. And sometimes he falls to the 110 and boom, I just don't even think about it. Click that button. Yeah, but like right now, I have him in my top 30 overall receivers, like right around that, like Pickens, Jaden Reed area. And I can see him jumping up like Addison and Flowers did last year. If he's that good, and like he's going to be a great number 2 on a team that could eventually become a number 1 down the line.
He can be if you have a wide, he is a bigger body, right?
Yep.
He could be the Devontae Smith to AJ Brown, but reversed.
I like that.
You can he can go to a team that's got a number 1 that's a smaller number 1 and be the number 2 to that, like smaller build wise, and be the number 2 to that guy in the same sense as Devontae Smith is the skinny guy compared to AJ.
Yeah, and like obviously landing spot matters. So if he does end up going to like the Texans, he'll be the number 3 behind Nico and Tank, but I'm gonna have to lower him then. But we'll see what happens.
Yeah. But the thing is, I think there's a chance that this draft class, even in the top with quarterbacks and everything, who knows, even one of those tackles that we won't talk about because we're fantasy related, but even some of the tackles or whoever, I think there's going to be a lot of trades, and I think this draft is going to turn itself upside down by the time 20 gets there.
Yeah,
like someone can move up to get him, is what I'm saying. All right, so the reason I was not going to bring up my next player, Jamie, the reason I'm bringing him up is because of you. Not because I know what you're going to say, because I don't. It's because I need to know what you're going to say, if that makes sense. Troy Franklin of the Oregon Ducks was my number 4 going into the combine. Okay? He was smack dab at my number 4. I love Troy Franklin. I like Troy Franklin. There's some people that don't. I know Jeff doesn't have him. Jeff has him as number 4. At one point, I don't know if he still does, but after the combine, okay? Did you watch his combine?
No, I didn't see it. I just got the numbers.
Okay, I'll be 100% honest with you, Jamie. You can run a better gauntlet than this guy.
Oh no.
Okay, and I don't mean with his hands. Okay, for the gauntlet you're supposed to run right down the line, turn,
Yep.
catch, turn, catch, turn, catch. He ran like he was drunk.
Oh jeez.
If you saw, like, they showed they had the tracer line, right? He was literally going like this. Like, he wasn't running in a straight line. He doesn't run his route. Like, he's not running his routes cut. He showed his 40 was what was his 40?
I think he had a decent 40.
He had a 4.41 40.
Okay. Yep.
He had a 4.41 40. He's 6'3", 6'2", 176. We weren't sure on what the weight was going to be at the combine, but here's the thing. I don't know where I have him now. You get where I'm going with this?
Yep.
I had him at 4. He's scaring the daylights out of me. There's another receiver. I'm not saying I'm dropping him out of my top 10. That's not what I'm doing. Right now, I got him at 5 because I don't know who to move up to 6, 7 if I was to move someone up. There's another player that Jamie just told me off air that I had in that range and I don't really like. I know someone else likes him in GF2. I don't know where to put that guy. I don't know where to put Franklin. So what do you think about Franklin? And I want you to try to persuade me where to put him because I loved him going into the combine. He's an enigma to me after the combine.
See, I wasn't a big fan of him. I know Jeff liked him, like you said. I've always had Brian Thomas over Troy Franklin. And this was when Thomas.
I had Franklin like at an 84 and Rob and Thomas at an 80.
Yeah, so I did put Franklin at my wide receiver 5 right after Brian Thomas. That was before the combine. Now that the combine happened, I moved him down around 7, 8. I still got to figure that out, but it just doesn't seem like I'm going to be drafting him because someone's going to be taking him in the 108, 109 range, and that's where I'm taking Brian Thomas. So if Franklin gets taken before me and Thomas isn't there, or Franklin's there, I'll probably still skipping over him. I'll find someone else. Like I might rather have James or Xavier Worthy over Franklin.
What about Mitchell?
I see. That's where I've said like 7, 8. Like right now, I got Franklin at 7, Mitchell at 8.
Okay.
I might switch those guys. I don't know.
No, that's fine. I was just curious where you had them compared to.
I just wasn't impressed. Like I know his speed score and his agility score were really low. I think they were in like the 50.
And I don't like that. And I don't like that because I thought his speed score was going to be higher.
So that's probably what made me drop him the most. This is a guy that I'm probably going to be out of. I'm going to let other people take him.
All right. And that is fine with
unless he ends up on the Chiefs. Then you kind of have to.
Yeah, but I have another opinion on that. All right. So Jamie lives in Ohio somewhere for people that don't know. But it is time for the Michigan segment of the show. Jamie, you kick off the Michigan segment.
Yeah, being an Ohio State fan, we can't really like Michigan players. But being a fantasy football fan, you can't deny that Roman Wilson isn't going to be a good NFL player. He's not huge. He's a 5'11", 185, but that's the type of receivers that are actually producing nowadays. He ran a 4.39, I believe. If you want to check that out,
I will double check that.
So in college, dude only had like 789 yards his final season, but there's a reason for that. Michigan didn't need to throw a ton. Like they were a run first team. So after the Senior Bowl, for me, he rose up. I put him
4.39, 46th out of wide receivers.
Yeah. So after seeing him at the Senior Bowl, that's what made him rise up for me. I put him at wide receiver 6, and that's crazy to people. Like people were letting him fall to the middle of the third round. In rookie mocks, I was taking him in the middle of the second round. Like he is my flag plant rookie right now, at least for receivers.
Yeah.
Like I'm flag planting Roman Wilson. I mean, he can win in all areas of the field. Like he can go deep. He can get those short passes. He's gonna be a great starter for whoever drafts him. Like I said in rookie mocks, if he falls to the third, smash that button.
He ain't falling into the third if I'm in the draft.
No, not at all. Like I said, I think I was in the Mocking After Dark draft. I took him at the 202. It was like there's no way he's gonna.
Oh God, Roshan all over again.
Yeah, like I said, this is gonna be my flag plant receiver.
This might be your flag plant player.
Yeah, he's been going like wide receiver 9, 10-ish, 11. I got him at wide receiver 6. I love the guy. I think he really had an underrated combine too, and it's because he didn't do all the workout metrics. Like if he would have done all the workout metrics, I think he'd be on more people's radars.
Will you do me a favor and guess his RAS?
I want to say like, well, can you have a full RAS without having all the workout metrics? Like 8.87 maybe.
I'll just tell you this: it ain't good.
What is it, like 8.4?
They have him at. Hold on, where is it? Okay, they are calling it incomplete now.
Yeah, he didn't.
But it's at 7.8.
Okay, it's gonna go up, guaranteed.
7.3.
Oh, dang.
But they do have it as NA. So
yeah, but yeah, I mean, like right now, I see him falling. Like I'm not budging. I'm still gonna keep him around that wide receiver 6, and I think I'm gonna have at least a 40% share of him in dynasty leagues.
It does not surprise me. I had a feeling when I saw him on the sheet that's where you were going. Well, here's another one. I am not as high as Jamie, but I am not as low as some of the people in the community as either. This is kind of the situation of you, me, and Franklin, and now you and me and Roman. I do have him around 10. I do have him right around there. I have him in my top 12. I know we're talking post combine, but more than what I see at the combine, I like what I saw at the Senior Bowl. But like you said, there's a problem with Michigan, with Jim Harbaugh, and wide receivers.
Yeah.
And that is they don't need them to succeed. Okay? And there's one thing that Jamie did not bring up that I will bring up, and Jamie can attest to this. I didn't think this was true, but I do kind of have a thing for Michigan receivers. But so does Jamie. Because who are
DPJ?
Tell me if DPJ
Nico
and
Collins.
Okay.
Like
I was high on Nico. I know you were high on DPJ. Yep. Even before he got drafted by the Browns, you were high on. It wasn't just I just want to say it wasn't the fact of your Brown fandom is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So yeah, I do like Roman. I do think Roman has a lot better route tree and lot better route running than he was able to show at Michigan. And I think that's what you were. That's basically
Yeah,
what
like
you
he
were
can do the
saying.
short intermediate routes, like the middle of the field. You go deep. Like I'm pretty sure he had 11 touchdowns, which was like the 5th most out of receivers in this rookie
Yeah,
class.
so he can. Yeah, he can do a lot. So nothing else really needs to get said about Roman. I do think he is going to be very, very interesting to see draft capital, not just team, but actual like where in the draft he goes, because like we all know, draft capital is a big deal when it comes to wide receivers and running backs. So for my guy that I'm bringing up, he is not my number one running back. Okay, he's not my number one running back. But Blake Corum out of Michigan is my favorite running back, if that makes sense. He is not my number one back. He can't be. I'm sorry, people that do have him number one. I don't think he's number one. But he is my favorite running back. I want him to succeed. 27 freaking touchdowns. I'm sorry. What? Um, Part of the problem with Blake Corum is his size. He is small. Let me check his 40.
I think it was in the 4.5s.
Was it 4.5?
4.57 maybe. I don't know. I mean, we didn't expect him to be fast.
No. We did not expect him to be super fast. He ran a 4.5, officially 4.53. So no, he's not. He's not super fast, and he's not gonna be. But he's also one of those guys that can catch out of the backfield. He's 5'8", 205. Okay, so yeah, he little. But at the same time, I think he has what it could be. I think he has what it can. He has what it is to be successful in the NFL. I think he is going to probably be a very, very late day 2, early day 3 pick. But he could be like one of those running backs that we thought was going to be high and just blah, blah, blah. So I think he could be a flex play in the NFL, third down back, and even be one of those guys that can at times get you that high ceiling play due to injury, bye week, whatever. Like you said, Roman is going to be on a lot of your teams. Well, Corum is going to be on a lot of my teams.
Yeah, I can see why. I mean, he kind of failed in a way at the combine, but he didn't also because that's what we were expecting out of him. He's not blazing fast. But I think teams are going to like him. Like whoever drafts him, I think he'll get the job done. I've actually seen him as some people's RB1. I want to bring up one of my favorite Devi guys, John Lobb, has Corum as his RB1.
Lobb has him as number one?
I believe so, yes.
Oh, God, yes. Yes! I trust John. Yeah, I trust John.
But that also depends on where he goes. Because like we know last year he wasn't all on A-Chain, but as soon as A-Chain went to Miami, he rose up Lobb's ranks. So I'm going to keep my eye on see where he goes and where Lobb puts him. But yeah, one of the guys I trust the most. But I don't know, just not having that top tier athleticism. That's a little bit of a red flag to me. I'm just going to keep an eye on his draft capital, where he goes. Opportunity leads to touches. So we'll see what happens. But right now, he is my between RB2 to 3.
Oh, you have him that high too? I don't have him. I have him in my top 5, but there's other guys that we'll discuss in a little bit. Okay, so next on the board. I don't even remember where we're going with this. Okay, now I do. So we just had the Michigan hour, the Michigan segment, right?
Yeah. Yep.
This is called White Boy segment. So Jamie, we got wide receivers that are white in the league, and not many great ones. Why don't you let me know who the white boy that you want to talk about in the SEC is?
The wide receiver out of Georgia, right? Yeah.
Yep.
So Lad McConkey. Even before I even saw this guy play, I was drafting him. before I knew anything about him. Just on his name alone, I thought it was a really cool name. So I started drafting him. Then I found out, this guy's actually really good. He's at 6 foot, 183. He ran the 4.39. He just keeps rising up the ranks for me after showing out the Senior Bowl, man. Like, this guy has superior separation skills. Like, I heard cornerbacks were actually like on the sideline pretending to tie their shoe just so they didn't have to get embarrassed by trying to cover this guy.
Are you serious?
Yeah. Yep. So so no one wanted, because they knew the NFL was watching. So they were like, oh, I'm not going to get burned by this dude. So that's elite separation, man. That's what jumps out to me. He's one of my second round targets in rookie drafts. Like we talked about Roman Wilson, if he's gone, Ladd McConkey's my guy. If someone takes Ladd McConkey before Roman Wilson, I'm not going to get mad at it. I can see that happening. He's currently right now my wide receiver 8 for the rookie class. I did move him up. He was at like 10, 11 after the combine. Definitely moved him up to 8. Like I said, he's an elite separator. He can run those routes. Reminds me of like Devonta Smith a little bit. Just, I don't know, man. I'm not good at comparing people, but
no, I get what you mean. I wasn't giving you the look in the sense of I think you're crazy. It's crazy in the sense of no one would have thought this a year ago.
Yeah, exactly. But we'll see what the NFL thinks of him. I can see him being a top 60 pick. So, and the second round.
Yeah.
And if that happens, then I think he could be fantasy relevant almost like instantly. So that's pretty much it.
Where do you have him ranked?
Overall,
around on wide receivers.
Wide receiver 8 for rookies.
Okay, that's all I need to know. Because guess what? He's my wide receiver 8. I think this guy is underrated. He's getting the Georgia treatment of Georgia wide receivers lately haven't been. They're like Michigan. Their wide receivers don't need to win. He's a good route runner. He doesn't have like breakout. How am I trying to say it? He doesn't have like breakout like speed, track speed, like, Worthy or Chain or anything like that. But he's got game speed. He can get the separation. He's able to get the defender on his hip, give him a little twitch and cut. I do like his hands. Overall, I think he is going to be overrated. Holy crap.
Sear's out for the night.
Sear's out for the night, but he gave us a super chat.
Appreciate it.
Seard, you are the man. I think that is going or Fantasy Cheat Sheet's first super chat.
Since I've been around, yeah.
Yeah. So, Seard, you're the man. I will talk to you later. Have a good night. But Ladd McConkey, I have seen him, Jamie. You said top 60, right?
Yeah.
I've seen mocks having him in the first round.
Oh, that would be awesome. Like, imagine him being on the Chiefs or the Bills.
I saw him mock to the Chiefs.
Oh, if he goes to the Chiefs, I'm moving him up.
So I don't know if that's going to happen. I could see him as I don't see him being a first round pick, but I do see him being, like you said, top 60. I see happening. I can see him, and I wouldn't have thought like top 40. You know what I mean? But with seeing a couple mocks after with him being in the first round, whatever, like I'm okay with him being there. You know what I'm saying?
Like, he is getting a lot of buzz on the NFL Network. I've seen people talking about him on Twitter a lot, so that's going to push him up.
All right, so to continue the white boy segment of the Fantasy Cheat Sheet, another SEC wide receiver, Ricky Pearsall of the University of Florida. Okay, let me bring up his stuff because Jamie doesn't know where I'm going with this. I don't know what Jamie thinks about Ricky Pearsall, but we're going to find out. And I will be honest, I was not going to bring him up. And then I decided, you know what? Let's do it. Okay, so Ricky Pearsall ran a 4.41. He has a 6'1", 189. He did 17 reps on the bench press, which is really good. He had a 42-inch vertical as a white boy. One of the catches that he had at Florida was one of the best catches of the year to Daniel Jeremiah. It was amazing. But let me see what his RAS is. His RAS, McConkey's RAS is an 8.45, just for perspective. Ricky Pearsall, 9.78 on the RAS. Okay. I don't know what to think about this boy. I don't know if he should be in my top 10 or if he shouldn't even be in my top 20. Okay. And I don't literally mean I'm going to knock him out of my top 20. But and I know this is a completely different position, but I know you watch football not just for wide receivers and running backs. Do you remember that year that Dontari Poe, defensive tackle out of Memphis, had such a great combine that it jumped him up into the first round and the Chiefs picked him in the top 15? Yep. This is what I'm afraid of. I'm afraid he's going to be one of those guys that gets the highlight play. Like OBJ goes up and gets the ball. He can make a few plays a year. But has Cooper Kupp ruined it for wide receivers that are a little athletic?
I can see that happening, yeah. Yep.
I'm afraid, I was listening to Kevin Coleman and Christian and Jeff on the Football Guys, and they like him. I don't know what to think of the guy. I truly don't. I need to talk to Gator about him because Gator's a Florida boy. He's not going to be a day one. He's moving himself into day two. He's moving himself into people's top 12, top 15 wide receivers. I've even seen people having him in the top 10. Jamie, am I crazy to not know what to do with this guy?
No, because we are in the same exact boat.
I don't know what to do.
I haven't heard much about him at all. I haven't seen him play in college. I haven't really been paying attention to him. I guess you could say I've been ignoring him on my draft boards.
But now we can't. That's the problem.
But there's one thing that I noticed that he's going to be 24 when the season starts. All right. Now, I guess you could say I'm a little bit of an ageist when it comes to this, because when he gets his second contract after his rookie deal, he's already going to be past that age apex. So for that reason, I might be completely out on him for dynasty purposes.
Okay. Let me ask you this, and I know we're already 58 minutes into it, but I know how you are when it comes to dynasty especially, and I need to bring it up. I am not saying you are wrong, okay? But I'm wondering, as a dynasty fantasy community as a whole, okay? Hear me out, and then I want your take on it. If we have to give the older player a break right now. And the reason I bring this up isn't because of Ricky Pearsall. It's because you hear that about quarterbacks. And we're not talking on the show, so I'll bring it up. Bo Nix, his freshman year, played against Justin Herbert. Okay? So I'm bringing it up because of Bo Nix. But my whole point is, with the COVID year, with NIL, people staying around a little bit longer, I believe that it's actually going to be more of I think it's going to happen a lot more often. That we're going to, not saying 24, not saying that old, but we're going to see I think we're going to see people staying into their senior year like a Travion Henderson did this year, more often because of the fact that NIL is going to play a part into it. And right now, this group of players and next year's group of players got an extra year of COVID so they can stay a year longer. So I get that you joke around that you're an ageist because that is a thing in the community, not just with you. I'm saying, like, there are people that joke around saying, yeah, they're ageist or this person's an ageist. There's people, as soon as they hit a certain whatever, they're out, right? But how much do we have to give? How much do we have to change the perspective coming up with NIL and currently with COVID?
Yeah, that's a tough question, man. Like I could see the tight ends being a little bit faster coming into the NFL because of that, having that extra year. That's not something we want to see with running backs, though. Like if we see a 24-year-old running back as a rookie.
No, I know we don't. But if you're Travion Henderson and you're getting $4 million to stay in school, I'm staying in school.
Yeah, and I don't blame him for doing that. It's just with the running backs, though, we have that 1 to 2 year window anyway.
Okay, let me pose it this way. What if Bijan would have stayed? Would we still be drafting Bijan as high as we did coming in? Yes.
Yeah.
Because of the talent. Because of the talent. That's all I'm saying. We can't just go, borderline guys like Pearsall or Bo Nix or whatever. Yeah, you can be like blah, blah, blah and drop him off because of, if that's like, if he's on the edge of tier 1 to tier 2, you can drop him to tier 2 because of the age. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, we're just going to have to adapt as a fantasy community. Like if a receiver hits 30 years old, we can't just throw him out.
Yeah, that's all. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but like with Pearsall, man, like I did the math, and it's like he'll be 29 or something like that when he signs a second contract. That's just
all right,
me a little bit.
Are you ready for your only job?
Oh yes.
All right, so Jamie's job is going to happen and it's going to look a little different because he's not below me. Let's see. All right, ready, set, and go.
Underdog.
Today's show is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Check out their industry-leading best ball leagues with huge tournaments, private leagues, and pick'ems for every major sport. Sign up with our promo code capital GF2 and get a deposit match up to $100. Yes, everyone, it is simple as that, GF2. But more importantly, it is starting to be best ball season. Jamie's in a draft right now. I know other people that are in drafts right now. This is the time. Get ready. Join small tournaments, whatever. Best Ball Mania will be coming up. Puppies will be coming up. Chihuahua, whatever. They're named after every dog now. So go ahead. Go check out our sponsor and do us and do yourself a favor and go join some best ball. It is also a good way, and I know Jamie uses it this way partially. It is also a good way to find out where players are going in real drafts with something on the line this early in the season that you can use in your startups and everything else later on in the year. So, Jamie, I kind of put it on the show sheet on purpose the way it is. This is our combined person, and then we will get into the cheat sheet after that. We are both high on this guy. Jamie, will you tell everyone about the running back of the fantasy cheat sheet low?
Yeah, Marshawn Lloyd, man. I just keep moving him up and up and up, and I still feel like I have him way too low. I know early in the process, I seen the consensus had him around like RB 9 to 10. And then I messaged Jeff and I said, would it be too bold to put Lloyd as my RB5? And he said, no, not at all. And then next thing I know, like people kept taking him early and earlier in drafts. 301 every time, he's a smash if he's there. I would even consider taking him early, like mid second round, depending on.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Who's your number one right now?
For RBs, I have to put Jonathan Brooks
Okay. No, that's
Yeah.
all. That's all I need to hear.
Even if I have to sit him for a year, half a year on my taxi, it's just that talent is there. But like right now, I got Marshawn Lloyd as my RB4, and I want to move him up even farther. It's just I don't know if I can. I got to wait to see what landing spot is and everything. But he seems to me like he's like the most ready to make an impact in the NFL. He's 220 pounds. He's got great speed. He's explosive.
929 Raz,
929.
and then
Yeah.
929 Raz, and I will get the 40.
Yeah, I don't have his 40 offhand, but I know he's got great speed and he's explosive. My favorite part about him is he can catch passes out of the backfield, which is a big plus in PPR leagues.
446.
446, perfect. I mean, like I just cannot wait to see where this dude lands. Like if he goes somewhere, let's say the Raiders, and Jacobs goes somewhere else. I mean, that would be a perfect landing spot. I know it's not the best of team, but he's gonna get that work. So I could see him being like a mid RB2, low end RB2 on like a weekly basis in that situation. So we definitely got to wait to see where he lands, but I'm definitely gonna have a lot of exposure on this guy. And if say he does land behind someone like Kendrick Miller did behind Kamara, I'm gonna wait a year on him still, and then see what happens year two, because we do have that 1-2 year window with these running backs to like kind of show us what they could do. But yeah, definitely gonna be high exposure on that guy.
You're crazy. You're nuts.
Am I too high on him?
You're not high enough, baby. RB2, baby. Let's go.
I wanted to put him higher, but I didn't know if I could or not.
So I got him at 2. I got him at tied for 2 and 3. I'm debating. Like he's either my 2 or he's either my 3. Like I'm right there. To me, he did nothing but help himself at the combine. I didn't think he was going to run. I mean, he's not a blazer. He's not going to run a 4.33 like Garredo. No one thought Garredo was going to run a 4.33, but running a 4.46, like you said, he can get the ball out of the backfield. He showed glimpses of it at South Carolina. Then he transfers to the other USC on the West Coast, shows more glimpses of it, even with Caleb and all that. Like you said, I'll be honest, I wasn't even thinking of the Raiders, but that salivates. Like that's like he would not be outdone by Xavier White or Zamir White. Could like you said, it depends on landing spot. Does he get stuck behind someone like Kendrick, like for instance Kendrick, or does he get screwed over even more like Zach Charbonnet?
Yeah.
Still upset, and get stuck behind a guy like that. Here, I'm going to throw one out there for you. I got a landing spot for you. There is a veteran on the team, but like I said, it's a veteran, right? And like you said, if he has to wait a year or whatever, what if he ended up with Kyler Murray in Arizona?
Oh, that'd be great. I mean, Connor will get hurt, play only half a year anyway, so that'll give him opportunity his rookie year.
But that would be, even if Connor is healthy all year long, like that's a spot that I think he could.
Yeah, so I was even thinking Bucks too, to take over that job for Rashad White. Like, as a Rashad White owner, I would hate
I hate
but
this.
as a Marshawn Lloyd lover, I would love it.
Oh, me and you both. I know how we both feel about Rashad White. He's an enigma, everybody. He's an enigma.
Yep.
So yes, Marshawn Lloyd. So from the good to the fantasy cheat sheets, cheat of the week. And I set this up on purpose when Jamie put his guys in and we still need a cheat of the week. So I am going to nickname Jamie. You know I love nicknaming my segments. This cheat of the week is going to be called I don't know what to do with these players. Okay? So, what wide receiver are you not as high on as some people? And I'm going to preface by saying, because I don't know where you have him ranked, I don't. But this is the opinion of Jamie, not the opinion of the boss, Jeff Lambert. Go ahead.
So Keon Coleman, was never a big fan of him. He failed miserably, man. Like, what did he run? A 4.62, 4.64, something around that area. That's not what we want to see, man. And the fact that he cannot create separation on tape very often, he needed to exceed, and he didn't. He does have size.
Okay, hold on. I have to say it. He was the second slowest wide receiver at 4.61.
4.61? I thought it was lower than that, but okay, still slow.
Officially, but it's the second. That's on NFL.com, but that's the second lowest out of all wide receivers.
Yeah, so I wasn't drafting him before the combine. I'm not drafting him after the combine. I remember being in a mock draft. I see him going all over the place. Late first, early second. He even fell to me the early third, and I passed up on him. I was like, I don't want this guy in the third round, even though people are taking him in the first. He's just not a guy for me, man. He seems like, I know he's got the size. He's 6'3", 210, 250 around there.
I have it right here. Let me go to the bottom, click his name.
I know he can go up. He can get those contested catches.
Yep. 6'3", 213.
Okay, so he could get those contested catches. Just, I don't want to rely on that from week to week. Kind of around here like Christian Watson, man, like the boom bust type players. He'll have those big plays and then he'll disappear. So I don't think he's going to be reliable week to week. Right now, overall, he's outside my top 50 wide receivers. Rookie, he's just crossed off my board. I'm not taking him at all. I know he's outside my top 10, probably outside my top 15. I got to put him somewhere, but he's already crossed off. I'm not drafting him. Even if he falls to me to the fourth round, I might take a chance on him then, but he's not making it that far. People are going to take him in the second all day.
Okay, so let me go here real quick. Brian Ford, I just saw it. Sorry, I'm late to it.
Oh, what's up, Brian?
These DGen MFers up late chatting fake football. Brian, it's not late. It's 7:50. It is not late. All right. So Keon Coleman. I'm not saying he's the exact build of this guy. I don't have much to say. And the only reason I don't have much to say is because you said it. I am not high on this guy either. I'm higher than you are, but the problem is you're not drafting him in the third or fourth round, and that does a little surprise me. I would still draft him third roundish, but I would draft him probably late second. But here's the thing: not exact build, but when I say, like you said, he doesn't get separation. He doesn't slow. He was slower. He needs to get separation. He's good at the contested catch. I get that, but in the NFL, you're going to have to do more than just be able to jump up and get a ball.
Yep.
He is this year's Quentin Johnston to me.
Perfect. Yes.
And he's not the exact build as QJ, but he is that wide receiver that everyone ranted and raved about. He didn't get separation, had okay hands, not as fast on the field as people thought, and it proved to be a disservice to anybody that drafted him, including the one share that I have. Okay? So I'll say it. That's the issue. I'm not high on Roma Dunes. Roma Dunes I'm high on. Why did I say that? Keon Coleman. I think I said Rome because I think Jeff has him right with Rome.
So let me ask you this: if you were on the board and you had a chance, Keon Coleman or Marshawn Lloyd?
Jesus.
I mean, it's easy for me, but I can see it being tough for some people.
No, it's tough, Lloyd, but it's tough. I have to think about it. It's not a smash. Honest truth, when you get to that point, Jamie, because that decision's there, I hope that decision's not there. But I think when you get to that point, that might be a little bit of roster construction, not just
because I was in a mock 301. Coleman was there. Lloyd was there. It wasn't even a question. I just went with Lloyd.
No, and I can see that. That's not. I don't see a problem with that, like at all. So that doesn't really surprise me in the sense of needing to do that, if that makes sense. Okay, so for my guy, I even listed him in the show sheet by a nickname that I gave him last night. Bucky, damn it, Irving. Okay. I will be 100% honest. He was probably my RB4 before this weekend. He ain't now. I don't think he is going to produce like we thought. 4.55 40. Not very quick. And here's the problem. What do you need to be besides being able to catch the ball to be on third down?
Pass blocker.
Guess
He's
what?
not a pass blocker.
I block better.
Yes.
And that's just putting my belly out in the way and letting someone run into it. Brian. So the reason I put damn it in the show sheet is because I want to believe in Bucky. I'm probably still going to draft Bucky if he falls to me. But the problem is I was willing to reach higher to grab him, and now I am not willing to reach higher to grab him. I'm afraid he is going to be a gadget play once in a blue moon on the field. He's not going to be a ceiling play. He's going to be a floor play, maybe a DFS play once in a blue moon. I don't know if I want him. I don't know if I can rely on him as a running back on my team anymore. What do you think about Bucky? And yes, Brian, I'd run into your belly anytime. Thanks, Brian.
Bucky, yeah, I wasn't really that high on him. I think it was like right outside my top 5, 6 running backs. Right now, I think I have him at RB9. I got to look more into him. If you say he can't pass block, he's not going to hit the field.
Without the speed either. Like now he doesn't have the speed. And
so do we what's that guy that I talked about, my first player, that Isaac Garendo? I might have to put Garendo ahead of Bucky Irvin now.
I gotta see what I have to see what the NFL thinks.
It'll be close. I can see like end of third round if Bucky Irvin's there at the end of the third round of rookie drafts. I would consider him. And that's right around that Garendo area, like third, fourth round. So we'll see where he goes. We'll see what the NFL thinks about him. I just don't think I'm going to be drafting a lot of Bucky Irvin.
Neither do I. I hate to say it, but neither do I. So to close out the show, I want to bring one more player up really quick, only because we didn't talk about him. And I know you kind of wanted to. And I kind of want to do, but we're running a little bit along in the show, but I don't care. We both can do what we want to do at this point, right? Cover boy athlete Xavier Worthy ran a 4.21 40. Jamie, you kind of brought him up earlier about what you're ranking on him. What does this do to him overall? Like, just talk about everything with this whole Worthy.
Yeah, no, I mean, he definitely shot up on people's radars. I was kind of high on him. I know about a month or two ago, I posted something on Facebook saying, like, watch out for this guy. This dude's going to be going at the end of the first round of rookie drafts. People are like, no, he's not. comparing him to certain people. And then now in rookie drafts, my mocks, I see him going late first. Even after like 109, I think my last one I seen. I don't know exactly where I have him. I think I got him right behind Roman Wilson, wide receiver 7, I want to say, around that area.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, like this dude's blazing speed. And he's not a John Ross where he just could run down the field. Like this dude can actually catch the ball. He right off the line, he'll burn you. Great separator. I love the guy, man. The more I look into him, the more I want him on almost all my teams. And I am in a position in a lot of my dynasty leagues where I do have a late first round pick. So I could see myself targeting him a lot this offseason.
How high do you think you're going to have to take him?
110, 111. I can see that area.
I don't
think he'll fall?
He's gonna be there. I think he'll go 1.8 to he'll go 1.8 to 110, depending where he lands. What if the Chiefs were to take him at 32?
Oh man, I might put him above Roman Wilson, my wide receiver 6. Honestly, yeah.
I was just curious what you thought. I love the guy. No, I don't love the guy. I like the guy. I do think he'll be a first round pick now. I do think to me, almost him and Franklin went like this.
Yeah,
like
flipped him.
Like I flipped. Well, I think the NFL is going to flip him. I think the guys that thought, Franklin will go in the mid, whatever, blah blah blah. Like I think the NFL flipped him.
Yeah, I agree totally.
But all right, everyone, that is the show tonight. Great show, a little long, but guess what? Me and Jamie love talking football with each other, so it's just us BSing back and forth. For Jamie, I'm Mike. Have a nice night, everyone.